Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This will be a video with regard to the midterm and the carry mark after the midterm. Right. So we will go through some stats or statistics of the marks with regard to the midterm, each question, and also the implication on the carry marks. For those who are watching this in the later semester, so the corresponding midterm, if you are interested to know what is the questions, what are the questions that results in this marks or mark distribution, I will put in the description link in the description box below the link for the exam midterm simulation for this particular exam, so you can see the questions, you can see how we solve the questions, and you can relate to how many actually get full marks, half marks, etc. So without further ado, this is the midterm exam mark. So this is 100% per 100 from the 37 students that take the exam under my section. So this is the mark distribution over 100, right? So one student almost got 100. I think he lost 2 marks, so he get 98% for the exam, for the midterm exam. So it shows that it is possible for the students to get almost full mark or full mark. But he's the only one that is above 90 here. There are 5 others that is in the range of 80 to 90, which is also okay. And then you can see here the distribution. Now, generally speaking, in this university we can say that 50% is the passing mark for for the exam. So you can see that more than half is below that line, which is a concern. And if this is a final exam, because the mark, the passing mark is 50. However, the clause is that you have to also get above 50 marks in the final exam. So in the final exam, even if meaning your full mark from the quizzes, from the midterm, plus from the final is above 50, but if in your final exam you get less than 50, you still will not pass, right? Because the clause for you to pass the exam is not only that your full mark is above 50, your final exam itself have to be above 50, right? So if this midterm is the final, meaning that for these students here and the rest, you will not pass the exam or pass the subject, right? So it is a concern that more than half get below passing marks. So hopefully you can check your midterm, the written midterm, to identify where is the mistakes, where you should is there any problem with the understanding, or you understand but just do the mistake. So make sure you do not repeat the same mistake in the final exam. Alright, so and if you wish, please do consult this student here, especially this one, in terms of getting the understanding that he have, etc. Because you should learn from one another, right? So this is the distribution. Yep, so you can see there's certain students in the same range, and then it drops down, certain student in the same range, drop down again, certain student in the same range, and drop here, right? So I'm not sure what is happening here. If you are among this, and if the issue is understanding, meaning that you don't understand what's going on, I really hope you consult with your lecturer and your friend, especially your lecturer, right? The room for consultation, for asking question, has always been open from the beginning of the semester until now. I'm not put any blame for anybody, but I'm just saying that the opportunity is there. The room is always open. If from before you do not take the opportunity to ask question, to really get the understanding, hopefully you cover up in the remaining of the semester, right? It is important for you to do so. If you understand everything is just that lack of practice, hopefully you realize that this subject really need some practices. So do put some time for practice. Alright, so this is the full marks. So we will go into each question, how do the students do in each question. Now again, for what is the actual question, for each question, there are 4 questions. You can see in the description box below the link that shows you to the simulation of the midterm exam to see what exactly is the question. And yeah, Right. So for question number 1, this should be the easiest question. If you see the question, it's straightforward from the early chapter, just resolving forces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 students did get full marks there. Some lost by mistake, etc. But what is a concern is here. How can someone still do not pass this question? Meaning you get less than 10 or below out of 25. That is really a concern to me, because this question is just the basics of the basics of this course. Meaning that you know how to use trigonometry, sine, cosine. You know how to add forces, add numbers, etc. So if you do not really excel in this question, I assume this case is more about how to say, mistakes, meaning that you make a mistakes in calculation, etc. Of course it will lose you marks, but I'm not sure what happening here, right? So really, if you are among those, make sure you identify what went wrong and why, and if is it fundamental understanding. If you are still, because some students seems to be still confused about, you know, resolving force into x and y axis. That is very fundamental, because that is affecting the whole course. Make sure you rectify what needs to rectify. And of course there are some students that just, I'm not sure what happened, they just almost do not have any hope. I'm not sure, because the way they answer is just almost everything is blank. So I'm not sure why they are taking this course if they are not putting anything into it. Maybe they have some things, I'm not sure. But that's the thing. That's question number 1. Then question number 2, you can see this one is a 3D question. If I'm not mistaken, it's about moment, right? Calculating moment in 3D, moment about a point, moment about an axis. So no one get a full mark. So I think many have issues with 3D. I'm not sure. That might be the case, because you can see here the drop is significant, and there's a lot more that get simply 0. I'm not sure what happened. So please make sure that you really look back at your midterm exam paper, see what went wrong. If anything that you do not understand why it is a mistake, please do ask, please do consult. Alright, so this is question number 2, which shows a concern here. Then question number 3 also is significant drop here. So this is, I think, with regard to distributed load, moment, right? One student actually get full mark, one almost, and then it drops like this. So again, the same issues, meaning the same concern. If you know what is the problem is fundamental understanding, you do not even understand. I think some students actually do not even answer the question correctly. They answer something else. They how to say, meaning the question is asking for something, they are giving a different answer. They are calculating support reaction when the question is not asking for support reaction, for example, right? So really make sure that you understand the question, what the question want, and do not just look at the diagram and assume, oh, this is from that chapter. Because in the exam, we can take a diagram from one chapter and ask a question about a different chapter. That always happen in the exam. We just want to test whether you understand or you just memorize. So do not memorize things. I know in schools, even in matriculation, some of you are being drilled to memorize certain things. It wouldn't work. It would not work in this level just to memorize things. This relates to that, and then you just do what you have memorized. Do not do that. Make sure you understand. Oh, this question want this. This is the concept. This is the equation, and this is how I solved it. Right? So we can change the diagram. We can change, etc. to test your understanding. And then question 4. So it is interesting that question 3 have much lesser marks than question 4. I think it is that issue, because the diagram, you might think it is from the chapter from question 4, but actually it's asking something else, right? Question 4 is about a support reaction. So I think many actually answer for question number 3 for support reaction as well. Hence, you do not get any mark for that portion, because it's not even asking that. Now, question 4, two students get it full marks, and then it dropped like this, right? So for these students, do take take a look what went wrong. Is it that I don't know. I assume you understand that, but you just make some mistakes. Make sure you really identify what those mistakes are. Is it I don't know. Some silly mistakes like this. Meaning when you add up things, and then suddenly you make some mistakes in terms of calculating, etc. You get something wrong, and then it affect the subsequent calculation. So please recheck, double check, triple check your calculation. I have shown in the simulation of that very midterm exam, as we mentioned in the link description box below, where you actually have enough time to double check, triple check your calculation, right? Now, having all of this after the midterm, so if we go to the carry mark, this is what it seems right now. Of course, the carry mark, full carry mark is 50, random 50 marks from the final exam. So this is how it looks right now. Of course, this student is that one student that get almost full mark in the midterm, and the quizzes is also almost full mark, I think. Hence, the carry mark is almost full, and the rest is like this, right? So but we are still having significant portion of time yet until the end of the semester. Hence, we have a significant number of quizzes yet to be covered. So make sure you push up your carry mark by virtue of pushing up your quiz marks. Now, this is the current quiz mark average out of 20. Yeah, this is based on the quiz up till the midterm exam. So we have more quizzes to go, and we if you are in my section, you know that I take the best 8 quiz marks. So meaning that if the later quiz that you will take after this can push your marks upwards, then it will help in terms of your average quiz marks as well as the carry mark. However, I'm interested to know on for these students what is the issue, because after how many quizzes we have already 20 quizzes, I think. The average mark that you can get from your best 8 quiz is still like below 4 out of 20. That is a concern to me, or even here, right? But I hope you can push up more. But if you average from 8 best quiz from 20 quizzes so far, it's still like this, please do consult what is the issue, because this highlight something, right? Whether you cannot carry the subject, is that is the case, or you do not know what to understand and you don't understand, or anything. Please do consult, so that especially if you really want to pass the subject, so we can identify what you can do. One is in terms of preparing you for the understanding and the ability to get good marks in the final exam, and second, to push up of course the marks as well. So please do consult. I'm happy to help in the class. For those who come to class, you know that if you have any question, if you want to consult, I'm always there for you, inshallah. Right, so that is it for this update. Hopefully in the final, after the final exam, the marks for those who pass the quiz, pass the subject actually is is more than what the trend is seems to show right now. Alright, inshallah, that's it. Thank you for watching if you are watching, and see you next time.